the opportunity to attend an institution like this. Besides AU Cairo, way in the northern part of this continent, we are the only other institution, the only other university that has American accreditation. And I'm extremely proud of that. We have cutting-edge programs in communications, ICT, health sciences, and many other fields. Our School of Communication, Cinematic, and Creative Arts is training experts in communication studies, journalism, film, and animation. And we know that our students who graduate are well prepared for these fields. Through the dedication of its faculty and staff, and I thank you faculty for all your hard work and all your commitment, but through the dedication of our faculty, it has over the years, I have learned this morning, produced some of the most outstanding journalists on the continent for the leading media companies, including the New York Times, CNN, Al Jazeera, BBC, and of course for the leading Kenyan media houses. I am so proud to learn we have produced award-winning alumni, 2 who have won the CNN Multi-Choice Journalist of the Year Award in 2009, 2016, and honor no other university in the region can claim. That tells you what's happening here in terms of cutting-edge education. These alumni include the top investigative reporter of the region, the founder of Africa Uncensored, and CNN African Journalist of the Year in 2009, John Allen Namu, the leading content producer for TV locally and the regional founder of DNR, Eugene Mugwagwe, the East African correspondent for the New York Times, Abdi Dahir, the lead vocalist of Kenya's multi-award-winning band, I'm going to mispronounce this too, so I'm sorry, Sauti Sol, how do you say it?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Amazing. Bien Ami Baraza, the CEO of Edelman PR and an international PR agency, Horizon Sefu, and the founder and managing partner of Debunk News and the winner of CNN's African Journalist of the Year, Asha Mulu. Graduates from our programs, as you know, dear students, have gone on to UC Berkeley, to NYU. We have wonderful faculty in front of us whose lives have been devoted to journalism, and I thank you for being with us. And Dr. Jirodi herself was recently appointed by the Cabinet Secretary for ICT to serve as the Vice Chair of the task force to develop the media policy guidelines for the country. So the top faculty and the top students are here today. We welcome you. We welcome you to a place making a difference in this critically important field of journalism, communication, film, and animation. As I said at the beginning, it's so fitting that this event is being held here at a university, because the purpose of a university, simply and profoundly, is to search for the truth, to ensure that our students can evaluate information, determine what's accurate, what's verifiable, and to turn that information into knowledge and eventually solutions that can lead to a better, a more just, and equitable society. At the present moment, I think you'll agree with me, around the world, reason and science are under attack. The polarization, actually the deep contempt for expertise, for knowledge, threatens to undermine all democracies. These are life and death issues, students. During the pandemic, we know fake news about health killed many people. Fake news about elections undermines trust in our democracies. So misinformation is a threat to us as individuals and communities and nations. Searching for the truth, documenting it, and publishing it is critically important. At this critical moment in human history, knowledge, reason, separating fact from fiction, focusing on the common good are essential if we're to solve our common challenges. We all have enormous responsibility to search and share the truth. All around the world, you journalists have come in for enormous criticisms in the last few years. Often attacks on the free press have been made by propagandists, by people with little regard for the truth, by people with lies to tell. And these people, these liars, we must all resist. As a university, we, like you, are seekers after truth. Honest journalists, you too are truth seekers and truth tellers. So thank you. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for your commitment. Thank you for your path-breaking and critical teaching and work. We look forward to deepening our ties with you so together we can create useful information for the common good. Thank you, everyone, for being with us today. Welcome to USIU Africa. Don't know where our MC is, Dorothy, so I'm going to turn it over to you. Introduce our guests. All right, then I will welcome the immediate past chair of the Media Council of Kenya. Please welcome him to the podium. Thank you for being with us today.
Thank you, VC. Thank you, Chair Department. Good morning, everyone. Thank you, young journalists, for turning up for this. I'll start by introducing myself. I've been introduced, I'm not doubting the pronunciation. My name is Maina Muiruri. I'm the chairman, immediate foremost, because my term has come to an end. I'm the chairman of the Media Council of Kenya. The Media Council of Kenya, if you're a journalist in Kenya, you either know it or you will come to know it. We are the ones who give you the media, the press card. Do you have the student ones in USIU, the student cards? The Media Council ones, not the school ones. They're coming here today. Oh, I hope they find me. Okay, so it's called accreditation. We are the regulator. We are the media regulator in Kenya. Media Council is a regulator in Kenya. It's not a private body. It's under the Ministry of ICT, but it's an independent body. We operate independently, although we are funded by the government to regulate ourselves. The opposite of that would be the government would be the one regulating you if you don't regulate yourselves. So worldwide, media organizations are working by the government. Because the regulation is expensive work, it's not possible to afford it, so you call in the government to fund you to control yourselves, and not in a dictatorship way. To control yourselves is to maintain high media standards, media freedom and independence, grow the media, help grow the media industry in Kenya through various ways. So that's the Media Council of Kenya. We have a board and we have a secretariat. So I'm the chair of the board. Now, I was asked by the chair to talk about journalism in the digital age. So I'll start by introducing myself as a journalist who has worked both in the analog age and the digital age. So I understand both. You young ones will never have a chance of working in the analog one. I don't know which is more enjoyable looking back. And I'm glad to have two colleagues here, Fred Waga, I think they teach you, and Joseph Nyanoti. We grew up together, we worked together. I think we were all employed as newspaper reporters in 1991 at the Standard newspapers. Them they were in different newspapers, but at one time we all worked together as young journalists. When I look at your faces, I remember myself as a young journalist working in the analog age. In the analog age, we used the typewriter. Now I can just use this phone to do all my work today and send a story and even voice from here. We used the typewriter. We used everything. Everything was manual. And the newspaper still came out. And I'm glad we have a journalism club here that has organized this. Very happy. These are very good initiative. We had journalism clubs in those days, manual. Everything was manual. We sent our stories to the newsroom from a telephone booth. Google what was shorthand. And then I would go to the booth, pick the phone, call the newsroom, and someone will pick my story, typing it on a typewriter, and I'm reading from my shorthand. The Vice Chancellor of USIU today has opened a conference organized by the Journalism Club at the USIU auditorium. And I keep quiet for a minute as she types that. And there is a language of journalism you will never know. Do they see you use para? Oh my Lord. Of camera. Have you ever seen it with a Kodak film? I would remove the film, go to the bus station, give them the film, right on top where the film is from, and the pictures inside, and put it in the bus. The film will come all the way to Nairobi. They'll pick the film, develop it in a studio using chemicals that look like water. They bring out a photo that now you only have on your mobile phone. A photo comes out, and I call them back and I read to them who are those in that photo. And we never made mistakes. The newspaper today has no mistakes back then. I read the names, they identify, the one in, and the pictures are black and white, so you cannot start saying the one in yellow. So you're saying, the one smiling, yes. And the one with a coffee, yes, you give the name. And tomorrow the story will come out with my photos and the caption on the photographs, and we never made mistakes. And it was enjoyable. And the newspapers are there. You have a library here for physical papers. If you check the ones of 92, 93, 94, you will find our names there. That was analog. So I was trying to introduce how I started. And now here we are today, and I'm reading this one from my phone. And I can enlarge it, I can make it smaller. Those days when you sit on a desk where I file my stories, I used to be surrounded by 3 things. Typewriter at the center. I'll hit it until you can't speak to me, I can't hear you. And I'm hitting it at a certain speed. We used to call it 120 words per minute. Letters, I think it was letters per minute. And I don't make mistakes. And it has no autocorrect. And it has no Google. And I just keep hitting and it goes to the next paragraph. And this side I'm having a dictionary called Oxford. It is this part. Any word I doubt, I go there quickly. And we use either American, I'm sure it's American English. In the standard we use the English. And on this side, I have files, envelopes. If I'm writing about Raila Odinga, the library has brought me all the envelopes with the Raila stories. They are here. So before I do my story, I research physically, looking for the one I want. When did he, how many times has he lied? I read about 10 stories before I start writing this one. Now here, I'm equipped here, equipped with the dictionary here, I have the typewriter here, and there was no fake news. And the facts are there. And the editors had a good memory. They can tell you, no, go and check this again. I'm not trying to discourage you. I'm trying to encourage you because you are now living in the best age. You just need to check. Even what I'm saying here, the first sentence I'm going to read here is not mine. I Googled it. I'm sure if it sounds familiar, you will just check. He's telling us he's reading a speech and he's copying. They can catch you now if you do your project and you plagiarize, isn't it? It's so difficult now to escape. Those days there was nothing to track me. So, journalism has undergone tremendous change in about the last 30 years. I remember I attended a function in Egypt almost 30 years ago, and they were telling us something coming up called the internet will change the way you work. And we thought, this guy is not very sure what he's talking about. He was sure. Most of which is attributed to technological advances. The growth in digital technology is variously described as disruption, mostly by us. It has disrupted our work, or the tradition that we knew, or developmental. For you, it's developmental. It will never be the same again, depending on which side of the media organization you have been caught in. When internet came, we started referring to it as disruptive. It was entering our space. It was offering jobs to people who are not trained as journalists. When you graduate here and you come out with your degree in journalism, some of you will get jobs in the newspapers, although the newspapers are shrinking and they are not employing, they are firing instead of hiring. But they are hiring young people, so you must be happy with that. They are hiring young people because you are cheaper to pay. Which is a good thing. It will encourage you not to stay there for too long. You go out and do your own. However, a big advantage you have is you don't have to be employed. Indeed, the ones who are not employed are making more money. The one the Vice Chancellor has mentioned here, John Allan Namo, was our colleague. We worked with him. He self-employed himself. He's now very rich. And he's winning more awards than CNN. Last year, he was our winner in the Media Council of Kenya Annual Journalism Awards. Self-employed. That's the direction you will want to go. If you are employed these days, you might remain not able to afford a car using Uber. But if you self-employ, you'll go up. It's more profitable to self-employ. Digital journalism is exactly what it sounds. Editorial content consumed through digital medium. At its core, it remains the same, reporting on the news and communicating it in a succinct way. The way we used to report it, reporting will never change. Only the circumstances around it have changed a lot because of digital age. So I was telling you earlier, when you graduate there and you come out, very proud, you've become a journalist. I graduated last month with a BA Communications, Masters. You'll come out and find that there are so many fellows masquerading as journalists, writing, owning their broadcasts, broadcasting quicker than you, with broken English, with no tenses and everything, and they are being read more than you. They are not journalists, but they've invaded the field. They have invaded the field in a big way. On your phone, I'm sure you might have Opera News, don't you? Tuko. You have it. You have Tuko, you have Opera, you have Kenyan something. Read their stories. When they start with a he, on the second paragraph, they call him a she. A she talking to his wife. They don't know how to write, but they have the phone. They have the digital tools. They've invaded the field. I'm talking of the disruptions. They've come into your field. So to survive in this field, you'll have to be reinvented. You graduated, but you reinvent yourself. You'll have to become the journalist you are trained here to be. Because, I'll give you a very big encouragement, it will never end. The pure, plain, reporting, news, features, business news, sports, that one will never end. But you'll have to perform it. You fly above they call it above the radar. You'll have to rise above them. It will never end. People will always want to read credible news. I'll give you two examples. CNN and BBC. There's a time they started saying even CNN will go. CNN, even as I stand here, I don't think it will ever go. However, many digital small things come up. When you want to know what's happening in American elections, you go to CNN. You don't start going to Tuko to see who is winning. And I'm sure even US has its very many Tuko and Kenyan, but you will go to CNN. BBC is still quoted as the most credible news source today. It will never end. So you trained very well here at USIU. You will never end. You've been trained. You are a journalist. Whatever, and another thing you take courage in is that it's not just journalism that has been disrupted by the digital age. It's every sector. Even Uber. I've used an Uber today. The fellow who owns Uber does not own a car. He has disrupted all the old taxis. Hotel, B&B, Airbnb, or BNA or B&B, they don't own a single hotel. So it's every sector. But will hotels end? Will taxis end? Journalism will never end. You are growing into it on an elite level and you retain it there. Whoever you are, wherever you are in the world, things happen. We are now going through a very serious crime wave. When you hear, I don't know whether that was fake news or real, a USIU student was stabbed. Was it real? USIU student was stabbed belonging to the basketball team. Was it real or fake news? It was real. But you see, when I saw that, I don't want to check in Tuko. I want to look in Nation, Standard, Star. If it appears in Nation, it's real. If it appears in the Star, it's true. So that level of journalism that is credible, that people want to trust, will never end. So do not be even if it's disrupting journalism, it will never disrupt you. Because you are the trained journalist. The internet has allowed us quick is not the word, real time access and communication with